Welcome to this first introduction into the wonderful world of Starbase. In this video I will be going over how to get started in Starbase, where to find the various important buildings and stores, and how to earn and upgrade your very first spaceship. After opening the game for the very first time and entering the universe, the first thing you will probably want to do is complete the tutorial. This not only helps you get a hang of some of the game's mechanics, but also gives you your very first spaceship. The tutorial starts out with some information about the controls. Make sure to familiarize yourself with these, and then continue on to the first building, the demolition job. At the demolition job, you'll be introduced to the buzzsaw and the laser cutter, both of which can be used to salvage ships. You'll have to tear apart 2 ships with each of these tools to complete this part of the tutorial. After that, you will continue to the mining job, where you'll be introduced to the mining mechanics, 2 different pickaxe hits and the resource bridge. A resource bridge is used to connect yourself to your ship's inventory later, too, since your backpack itself cannot hold any ore. The last part of the tutorial is the repair job. Here you will be introduced to the build tool, which you can use to paint back broken pieces of your ship from a blueprint, as long as you have the required materials. The crates in this part of the tutorial are somewhat broken at the moment, so make sure to do all of the other pieces first. In the blueprint tab of the universal tool, you can see what type of parts are still broken and have to be repaired. After finishing the repair job, you get yourself your very first spaceship, called the Laborer. The ship is a small mining vessel which can easily be upgraded, and I'll be going over that later in this video. First, however, I will go over the various stations and buildings around. The station you're on right now is called the Imperial Capital, though often just named Origin Station. The station has all the buildings needed to get you started: a shopping center, ship designer, ore drop-off point, ore towers, refuel stations, starter jobs, and many ship shops. The shopping center consists of a bunch of shops which each sell related parts or tools. Here's a list of shops and what they sell. Starsol, which sells depletables for your ship, such as fuel rod, coolant cells and propellant tanks. Luxury items, which sells all sorts of ship components, such as beams and plates, but also devices at the elevated panels in the back of the store. SH, which sells mining equipment, such as pickaxes or ore cargo crates. Bolt, which sells various handheld tools and their required ammunition. X Constructs, which sells factory-related equipment. Frame, which sells parts for building lots and stations. Mag, which sells ship-mounted weaponry and their ammunition. Kite, which sells cosmetic armor pieces for making your endo stand out. Ares, which sells handheld weapons and their ammunition. And Purple Brick Resources, which sells material, though at the time of making this video, this shop is not operational. The shopping center also has a small area for a sunny ship center, but they only sell the Vasama here, a small bike for getting around the station. The last area in the shopping center is the auction house, but you can access that from anywhere in the station using a keybind, which by default is bound to comma. The rest of the station contains the ship designer, where you can design your very own spaceships, the starter jobs, where the tutorial also was, and the various ship shops, which each offer their own selection of ships. There are many other stations around the universe. There is Proya, the big orb where you can rent your own lot. There are the Kingdom and Empire headquarters and outposts, and there are stations for playing with the combat mechanics where PvP is enabled. And of course there's a few unused stations near Origin. There's also the option to make a station of your own, though building this will take a lot of time and material and is best done with a larger group of people. Many important buildings around Origin have an insurance transfer terminal. These terminals are points where you can quickly transfer to get to certain places quicker. There's one in the spaceship designer building, one in the back of the red ship shop, next to the biggest ship for sale there, one in front of the shopping center, and one near the starter jobs. Other stations sometimes also have transfer terminals, often in their respective spaceship designers in front or on top of the stairs. The last part of this tutorial will be about upgrading the Laborer, the ship you got after the tutorial. The main upgrades are extra crates and thrusters, a GPS and a generator management script. Before starting the upgrades, we will need to buy a few materials. In the top left of the screen you can see where in the shopping center I'm buying these, and make sure to get all of them. You can pause the video if you're still looking for items, and I will put the shopping list in the description as well. You will need 1 advanced and 1 basic YOLOL chip, 2 YOLOL chip sockets, 1 small navigation receiver, a 24 by 24 cm text panel, a device hardpoint, 2 box thruster bodies, 2 box thruster combustion chambers, 2 box thruster nozzles, 2 thruster electricity converters, 2 thruster gas converters, a 96 cm beam, and 13 modular ore cargo crates, though if you don't have the money for those yet, you can always start with fewer and add more over time. You'll also want to make sure you have a bolt tool, cable tool, pipe tool, their respective magazines, and a durability tool. You can easily access these tools by dragging them from your inventory onto your hotbar, allowing you to use the number keys on your keyboard to directly swap them into your hand slot. Now that you have all the parts you need, let's get started by adding extra crates, since this is the easiest step. Go ahead and spawn your ship. I would recommend doing so at the ship designer, since your ship will not despawn automatically there, making it a lot easier to finish all the upgrades in one go. To get the crates out of your inventory, drag them from your inventory to the edge of the screen to drop them into the world. After doing that, you can pick one up with the E key, press C to toggle snapping, and move it close to the existing crates to snap it in place. If you want to rotate the crate, you can do so by holding down the X, Y or Z keys to rotate on each of these axes. To fix the crates in place, select your bolt tool, aim at the crate you want to fix in place, and hold down left click to auto bolt it. If you accidentally bolt it in the wrong spot, you can hold right click to auto unbolt as well. Adding thrusters is a little bit more involved since these require some assembly before putting them on the ship. Drag all the thruster parts out of your inventory and assemble them as shown here. The nozzle and combustion chamber fit into the box thruster body, after which you can put the gas and electricity converters in. Make sure to put these in the hole with the corresponding color, otherwise they won't work. Don't forget to bolt everything together. The easiest way to do this is by auto-bolting the thruster body. To put the thrusters on the ship, snap them in place and auto-bolt both the thruster body and the hardpoint the thruster is on. On the current version of the Laborer, one of the hardpoints is missing a pipe connection. This pipe looks like it's connected, but in reality it is not, so be sure to put it in place properly with your pipe tool. After bolting the thrusters in place, it is time to change their device fields. Press U while aiming at one of them to open your universal tool and rename the thruster state field to thruster 15 for one of them and thruster 16 for the other. It is now time to dive into a little bit of YOLOL to make sure the generator on the ship always runs as efficiently as it can be. To do this properly, you'll want to start out by renaming the batteries all to just battery instead of battery 1, 2 and 3. After that, bolt one of your chip sockets to the ship, snap the Basic YOLOL chip into it, and connect the cable from the socket to a cable on the ship. You can then open the chip by holding left click on the lock and dragging down, and then click on the chip to start typing in it. This is the code you'll want to have on this chip, which will also be in the description so you can copy and paste it if you want. To make sure the generator script works properly, press U on the generator unit, which is the orange part of the generator, and change the generator unit rate limit value to 100. Congratulations on making it this far, your Laborer is now already a very decent mining ship. The next step is optional, though highly recommended. First, another bit of assembly. Bolt the 96cm beam onto your ship as shown here. Then snap the hardpoint in place and make sure to pull it down properly. You can then unbolt the beam and pick it back up. We don't need that anymore. Then you can put the small navigation receiver on the hardpoint and make a cable from the hardpoint to any other cable on the ship. Then change the device fields of the receiver as shown here. Make sure to pay close attention not only to the names but also the values. Next, we'll make some changes to the dashboard. Snap the text panel in place and bolt it down and rename its panel value field to pause. After that, rename the generator button to GPS, set the on state field to 0 and the off state field to -1 so you can use it to turn the GPS on or off later. After this, it's time for a bit more YOLOL. Bolt the other chip socket to the ship, but don't cable this one up just yet. Put the Advanced YOLOL chip in place and paste the second code listed in the description. Sadly, you'll have to do this line by line for now, but hopefully this will change in the future. After pasting in all the code, lock the chip again and change its chip weight device field to GPS. After doing that, you can cable the socket up and your GPS will be ready to go. If you happen to have missed any of the device fields or bits of code, a link will be in the description to the website where you can find an overview and all the code that's related to the GPS. Later, this system will be upgraded with an autopilot as well, but that will follow in a separate video. After you're done with the upgrades, left click with the durability tool and check if none of the parts light up in red and the warp class of your ship is over 1. If not, secure the parts in red with extra bolts. If the warp class is high enough, you're done. I hope this video helped you out a bit with getting started in Starbase. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and leave any questions you may have in the comments. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.